Peter Parker and Fred Myers have found themselves in the crosshairs of the Kingpin once again. What'll happen next? Well, let's hop into the pages of Amazing Spider-Man issue number 62 and find out together, shall we? So then, picking up from where the last issue left off, Mayor of New York Wilson Fisk and former Kingpin has finally decided to deal with the Boomerang problem once and for all. As Wilson puts it, Boomerang had always been something of an agent of chaos. He never exactly knew whose side he was on, whether or not he was coming or going, and what plans he could ruin, but now Boomerang has turned over a new leaf. He's working with heroes, he's becoming more heroic himself, and the best way to hurt a hero is to not go for that hero, but to go for all the friends and family around them that they love. This is why Kingpin has hired professional assassins to kill Gog, the brand new alien pet that Fred and Peter had adopted. Spider-Man rushes his way across the city in his brand new Threats and Menaces costume that was a big deal in the previous issue, but just kind of becomes part of the background dressing here in this issue to try and make the save. It's actually left slightly open-ended whether or not Bullseye missed the shot in this situation and instead of killing Gog just happened to deactivate the collar that keeps him small. Either way, Boomerang and Spider-Man have another kaiju-level threat they need to deal with, and they're even more invested in solving this problem as quick as they humanly can because, well, they kinda love Gog. He's become a big part of their life now as a pet. In fact, Peter's internal monologue talks about how he never thought he would be ready for this kind of responsibility, but being able to take care of a pet really shows his own growth as a person over the last little bit. In fact, as we're going to see all throughout this issue, personal growth and the lack of personal growth is actually a major theme. For you see, from there we transition on over to the hard-working B story involving the Robertson family. Robbie has taken his son Randy out for a drink to talk about life and the new girl that his son is seeing. They end up getting ambushed by J. Jonah Jameson, who despite his own personal growth, learning to accept that Peter Parker is Spider-Man, we see that he is still very much petty in a lot of ways. He gloats to the Robertsons about how good his new deal with Threats and Menaces is and how this new Spider-Man deal is going to make him a big name in news once again, but Robbie actually shuts him down, saying that Jonah's basically learned nothing, and that the only reason he's so popular again now is that the rest of the media industry just caught up to his own crappy mud-raking tactics. And that as long as he's still in charge of the Bugle, it's going to be a place for actual real journalistic integrity. Back over with Spider-Man and Boomerang, they drop Gog off with Mary Jane. Now that they know the Kingpin is gunning for them, they're going to have to do something about it and make sure the little guy is okay. Fred is actually really upset to have to see his pet go because, well, Fred basically cares about this pet more than he's cared about anything in his entire life up until this point. And on one hand, it's very silly and very funny to see the Boomerang man sad about the little alien monster. On the other hand, this is actually good writing and characterization on his part. In fact, Fred even says to Spider-Man that this is the first time he's ever truly actually felt responsible in his life, and that he truly fears that if he continues down this path of goodness, the people closest to him, the people he loves, will always be in danger. But Spider-Man doesn't know what that's like, right? And then just to really hit home the comedy of the situation, Boomerang ends up inadvertently quoting Batman, saying the Kingpin and his ilk are a cowardly and superstitious lot. Speaking of Kingpin's ilk, it's after that we check on in with Tombstone. Lonnie Lincoln has also been working this Boomerang life tablet situation, but from the other end. Wilson Fisk is still very much keeping his word to Kindred that Peter Parker will not be harmed, but Fred Myers has more than one roommate, and as such, Tombstone decides to go after the son of his old rival. Tombstone plans to kidnap Randy to get at Fred and manage to score a little payback against his father Robbie while he's at it. Little does Tombstone know, though, that Robbie Robertson also just so happens to be writing a big expose piece right now on Tombstone's own daughter, the new Beetle. And what both men actually end up finding out at the exact same time as the comic comes to a close is that Randy and Beetle are actually involved in a romantic relationship together. Ooh, this is gonna complicate things. And so that was Amazing Spider-Man issue number 62, everybody, and once again I gotta say I love the tale that Nick Spencer is weaving here, especially as it relates so much to the stuff that he had already done in Superior Foes of Spider-Man, this arc essentially feeling like a real sequel. I'm sure some people will be disappointed as it seems that Harry Osborn and all the stuff with Kindred is set on the back burner for a little bit as we deal with this more Kingpin Boomerang-centric story. But hey, you know what, so long as it keeps being funny and keeps me guessing, I'm gonna keep coming back and keep enjoying what I'm reading. Once more, too, I have to take my hat off for the whole thematic nature of all of this. I love that Spencer is weaving a story about personal growth and changing, and the characters who are unable to grow and change, especially with Robbie and Tombstone. Now that they know their kids are lovers, will they grow and change as people, or will they just fall back on the same old grudges that have defined so much of their lives up until now? One thing I will actively criticize is the art, though. It's not nearly as good as the 2 issues that preceded it, and it's going to take a lot of people out of the experience, I can tell. Overall, though, I'd give this one a 7.5 out of 10. Good stuff. Hey there everyone, Cape Joel again, and I want to thank you so much for watching to the end of the video. As always, if you liked what you see, be sure to like, subscribe, comment. It really helps drive engagement and helps me out too. Also, if you are a patron, which you can become for as little as $1 a month, you will get exclusive content that no one else can ever see, and you'll get to see the Comic Multiverse podcast before anyone else too. You can check out all this and more down in the description. And until next time everyone, this has been Cape Joel, and I'll see you all next time. Cheers.